Welcome to the BurbNBougie News Recap. Once again, I have a wide variety of stories today. Hopefully something resonates with you. Yes, there's no rhyme and reason to this particular lineup of videos. Please just go ahead and enjoy it and let me know what you think. I have been talking about the birth rate decline globally, and someone sent me this article saying Switzerland's birth rate drops sharply in 2022. This was put out October 20th. Statistics published this week by the Federal Statistical Office show an 8% annual fall in the number of natural births in Switzerland. In 2022, there were 82,371 births, down 8.1% from 89,644 in 2021. The recent fall in births follows a rise of 4.3% in 2021 following the end of the pandemic. In 2022, that negative 8.7% drop was higher among Swiss residents than it was among foreign residents at 6.7% drop. The last time Switzerland had a birth figure as low as the one in 2022 was in 2012, when the population was 7.8% smaller than it was in 2022. The main reasons behind the recent decline in births could be the financial situation and concerns about the future, suggested the FSO. Another reason might be Switzerland's aging population. In addition, the age of parents continues to rise. 75.2% of mothers were 30 or over in 2022, compared to 66% in 2010. In 1990, the same figure was 42.6%. Fathers are also getting older. This is a global trend. A lot of people are having kids later, and 20-some-odd-year-olds simply can't afford children. So this article made me go check out Switzerland. Their birth rate, their births per woman is, as of 2020, was 1.46. So that is what Google is telling me. It could be lower considering that the birth rate has dropped. Y'all. And Switzerland has its own child-free movement. Okay, this article. The rise of voluntary childlessness poses a demographic challenge in Switzerland. So they are having their own movement, and it seems like this is a global thing. In Nepali society, there is a general assumption that couples must have children after marriage. Due to societal pressure, couples seek different medical treatments if they are unable to conceive naturally. Being childless or declaring that one doesn't want children is very rare in Nepal. However, in another part of the world, Switzerland, the younger generation is increasingly choosing voluntary childlessness, sparking discussions about demographic challenges. This article was posted this past July. The desire among young people in Switzerland to remain childless, or child-free as some would call it, has grown significantly, prompting debates about the potential consequences of this decision. Some Swiss women are even expressing their intentions to be child-free as early as their teens. One such woman is Celine Rohrer, a 27-year-old Swiss citizen who has been in a relationship with her partner for a decade. Celine made the decision to not have children when she was 12 due to the fear of physical changes pregnancy brings. Celine and her partner have firmly decided to prioritize living a fulfilling life rather than being consumed by family responsibilities. Similarly, 33-year-old Jessica Tomet, who married a divorced man 6 years ago, has chosen not to have children, as her husband already has 2 from a previous marriage. Jessica considers her pet dog as her child and believes that concerns about declining population should not be a priority given the global issue of overpopulation. Elise Dantrens, a journalist in Switzerland, has also decided to remain childless due to concerns that becoming a mother would hinder her professional career. Many Swiss women are announcing their decision to be child-free. According to a 2018 Families and Generations survey by the Switzerland Statistical Office of Switzerland, 24.8% of men and 20.7% of women between the ages of 50 and 80 have neither biological nor adopted children. Another survey conducted by the same office in 2018 revealed that 8% of men and 9.7% of women aged 20 to 29 do not want children, along with 17.4% of men and 26.4% of women aged 30 to 39, and about 70% of men and close to 90% of women aged 40 to 49 do not want children. The latest data on fertility rate indicates that Swiss women are more likely to choose voluntary childlessness compared to foreign-born women residing in Switzerland. This just goes to show you that these trends are global. Things that are going on in the United States are not special. There are movements. Women are tired across the board. Women want to keep their careers going. Women are saying the same things about climate change and overpopulation and all of that. So I just keep bringing these other countries to mind and sentiments of women globally, just so we know that these trends are probably not going to stop. You guys go ahead, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, share. I came across this article in Fortune magazine. So the customer is the loser in the new hotel industry, where the rooms are dirtier, the prices are higher, and you're getting less service, an analyst says. Let's get into this one. Doug Demore is no revenge traveler. The broadcast engineer never stopped traveling during the pandemic for his job, installing and maintaining television transmitters across the U.S. West. Since the pandemic, though, he says service has gotten so bad he's had to change hotels in the middle of a trip. On his last trip, Demore had a 7-day booking but left after day 2. His main complaint? Housekeeping, or lack thereof. Not as many towels. Maid service essentially stopped during the visits. Floors aren't really cleaned very well. Some beds look like someone took a nap on them before I got there. So far, operators that scaled down on staff during pandemic era shortage are in no hurry to staff back up, according to industry analysts. In fact, hotel staffing during the pandemic saw its biggest plunge in 3 decades, according to figures compiled by Unite Here, and it has yet to come back. Hotels that scaled back room cleaning found that more often than not, most customers didn't miss it. And additionally, with lack of labor and labor prices going up, hotel owners are perfectly fine with not having to pay up for house cleaning. I think the customer is the loser here. Room rates are fully back and more, but you're getting less service. Okay, so here's a graph that shows how staffed the hotels are. So in 2000, it was at 60%. It dropped down way below 40% in 2020. And as of right now, it rebounded to about 42%. So you can see this graph is abhorrent, especially since people are starting to travel again. Cleaning optional stays didn't start with the pandemic. Over the last decade, hotels began pitching guests the choice to skip a towel refresh or cleaning for perks, usually points or a small snack item. But the pandemic supercharged that trend, with properties mostly empty and the handful of guests willing to forgive pandemic-fueled disruptions. Many chains saw a chance to scale back permanently in return for higher profits. The work we're doing right now, every one of our brands is about making them higher margin businesses and creating more labor efficiencies, particularly in the areas of housekeeping, food and beverage, and other areas, said Hilton CEO Chris Nassetta. All right, Chris Nassetta continued, predicting that when we get out of the crisis, those businesses will be higher margin and require less labor than they did pre-COVID. According to its latest annual report, Hilton had 8% fewer employees system-wide than it did in 2019, even as its room count jumped 14%. A company spokesperson did not answer a Fortune query on its cost-cutting strategy, but said in a statement, "In an increasing number of our hotels has also reintroduced automatic daily cleaning service as travel has rebounded following the pandemic. Beginning this fall, guests will enjoy automatic daily housekeeping at all Hilton luxury full-service lifestyle and Embassy Suites by Hilton hotels worldwide," the person added. Guests at any of Hilton brands can share their preferences upon arrival during their stay and tailor their housekeeping schedule to their individual needs. I would think that would be normal. Who thinks to ask for house cleaning? Pre-pandemic, hotels needed to keep about 40% occupancy in order to break even on costs. But with cleaning being cut back, that figure has shifted closer to 30%. That's one reason he believes daily housekeeping, at least for mid-range and lower hotels, is a thing of the past. If it hasn't happened by now, it's not going to happen. Nationwide, hotel occupancy so far has rebounded to its 2019 levels, but employment hasn't kept pace. That's not entirely the hotel's fault. Many workers left the industry during the pandemic, noted Sean O'Neill, hotels editor at travel industry website Skift. After the staff exodus, hotels have now had to hire people who don't have that experience and train them. He said one of the reasons some operators may be dragging their feet on cleaning more frequently. So, this is what people are seeing. What have you seen? Have you seen a downturn in cleanliness? Have you started traveling again? Go ahead and weigh in and like, comment, and share. Back in college, I was a server. This type of situation irritated the heck out of me. Large groups that didn't tip properly, large groups that would run you ragged, take up many of your tables for a certain amount of time, and then you not get paid. Servers are not paid very much money. So this party, this group of 20, a funeral party, I bet you they were Christians too, for them to leave and basically steal $500 worth of food, steal this server's time and efforts, and then just run out. This is definitely criminal. It definitely creates a situation where more and more of us, and y'all know who I'm talking about, get lumped in and stereotyped because of this type of behavior. A group of 20 returning from a funeral were served a large meal at Crazy Cajun Seafood and Sports in Houston, only to skip out on the bill. This footage was posted on Grizzy's Hood News on TikTok. The total cost of the meal was $542. There was a 20% gratuity tacked on. That was $84. Two members of the funeral group did pay their tab, but the rest can be seen walking to their cars and threatening to pew staff. So Grizzy asked, you guys threaten the wait staff with a pew experience. Nah, that ain't it. That was part of the editorializing on the video. So the funeral party's receipts show that there were 2 kids' meals, 3 8-piece wings, and 3 seafood platters. 4 orders on the receipt shown cost more than $20. So that is what was going on. Yeah. According to this article, most of the restaurant, the reviews were positive about the wait staff. So folks got a little irritated talking about those people should be ashamed of themselves. Kudos to the employees for putting up with them. That is where we are, where big parties of our kind have to be put up with. I just hate that. So somebody in the comments was wondering, is the security footage intentionally being blurred? Because if there are license plates, these people definitely need to be prosecuted because this is definitely theft. This is theft. And these people's service, their time, their energy was definitely wasted, and these people should be held accountable. A Reddit user says $600 for so many people is not really that bad. That's pretty affordable. When you think about it, 20 people divided by 600 is like $30 a person. That is kind of typical for your day out. So I don't know why these people were dining and dashing like that. I did go to Grizzy Hood News to look at the comments, and this one had me kind of chuckling. She was like, they like, girl, I ain't paying for gravity. Gravity is free. Are you trying to say this is the same as the girl that said ambulamp instead of ambulance? Apparently, Tooth Fairy didn't think that this was too funny. I thought it was hilarious. They weren't going to leave a tip anyway. Get a credit card first, like when you open a tab at the bar. Now, when we start going to this, as far as restaurants being like this, we can understand why. These dine and dashers are why. And I can completely understand why a business or servers will want to protect themselves from this type of behavior. Okay, so Jenny asked, did they write all of the license plates down and give the information to the police? And then Brenda Garcia swoops in. We went outside to get plates. The woman threatened to pew my 22-year-old coworker. So no, she came back inside right away. It's not worth it. Businesses are in the business to make money. So when people steal, this could impact folks getting these services. Just like when stores start shutting because of theft, or when stores start putting up those bars and gates or plastic barriers, there's a reason. because people are in business to make money. And so when folks start doing this, especially in certain hoods, people are going to be crying racism. Well, somebody has to be held accountable for this behavior. That way it doesn't keep impacting the rest of us. Anyways, y'all go ahead, jump in the comments and let me know what you think. Like, comment, share. I'll just leave this here for you guys to read on your own. I completely understand the sentiment.
Out of a group of 20, 18 were Dine and Dashers, folks. Get a load of this. This is the Crazy Cajun restaurant on 290 in Hollister. According to the people I spoke to that sent this video in, the folks here that you guys see were not happy with that gratuity fee. They did not want to pay that. So what they did was walk out. Only 2 tabs were paid for. This is sad. Wait a minute, did she just say she was gonna pew-pew someone? Oh, Lord. She just threatened to pew-pew someone over a Dine and Dash tab. Can we get a come on down? Was it really necessary, on top of taking off and not paying the tab, except 2 people, but everyone else walked out? On top of that, you guys threatened the wait staff with a pew-pew experience? Nah, that ain't it. All right, so this is just an idea of the group, how big the group was.
I recently had posted a video talking about the Gambia and how FGM was making a comeback. And I think I mentioned that it was these Muslim countries that were doing this. And I had some women that came into my comment section to let me know that this was not about being Muslim, that this was cultural, and that some countries are actually Christians still practicing FGM. And a woman was kind enough to provide me with some links so that we can talk about it. This one is titled, Every Chemist Has a Backroom, The Rise of Secret FGM in Kenya. This article was published about 3 years ago, but still, let's get into it. In Kisii Town, southwest Kenya, a rundown roadside building houses a pharmacy. Narrow broken windows allow little light into the bare shelf dispensary. The ground floor is partitioned into 2 small rooms, one covered in cloths concealing what lies beneath. In the other, a single bed is just visible enough through the gaps in the curtain. Like many others in the area, the pharmacy doubles as a clinic. Lillian Kamunto, a former surgical nurse, set it up after she retired in 2018. She mainly does health checkups, but she has also offered FGM services on request. Kamunto has performed cuts since the 90s after receiving training in basic surgical techniques from male colleagues in the local hospital where she worked. She would do the cuts in the hospital at night, but it was risky, she says, because management didn't approve. They would tell us, just do it, but if you're caught, you're on your own. She preferred cutting girls in a private home in the middle of the night, saying it was much easier. By 6 a.m., the girls are back in their own homes like nothing happened. In Kesey County, medicalization is standard. 2 out of 3 cases of cutting are performed by health practitioners, in contrast to much of the country where 70% of FGM cases are performed by traditional practitioners. The services are in high demand over the December holidays when the community traditionally performed the rite of passage. However, COVID affected the school calendar, making cutting patterns less predictable. With medicalization, the practice has shifted from a group activity marked by public celebration to an individualized one. Rights groups say the trend has made it harder to monitor, and UNICEF has termed the medicalization one of the greatest threats to eliminating FGM. It is very hard to find out who is doing what, says Esnaz Nyaramba, an anti-FGM campaigner who monitors and reports the practice. As long as the mutilator and the mutilatee are there, it's a done deal. Nyaramba says that many parents take their girls for FGM under the cover of a different medical service. She uses insiders such as nurses and gate guards to get information on when the cuts are happening and work with police to stop it. Her organization, One Sembi, is part of a grassroots movement. Hashtag Frontline Ending FGM that provides live updates on where and when FGM is happening. Organizers say it has made it easier to pressure local authorities into acting. FGM rates in Kenya have gone down significantly over the past decade. The country passed strong laws in 2011, imposed hefty fines on practitioners, and stepped up surveillance and enforcement. But the medicalization is posing a new challenge for the East African nation, which has a 15% medicalization rate, one of the highest in Africa. Earlier this month, Kenyan President William Ruto backed the country's Chief Justice, who said FGM should not be a conversation we are having in Kenya in the 21st century, and reiterated his administration commitment to eradicating the practice. Roughly 475,022 girls are at risk of FGM in Kenya between 2022 and 2030. 75% of girls undergo the cut between 8 and 14. Kimuto's clinic is not unique in the region. Every chemist has a behind, says Carol McCory, a retired medical practitioner from the area, referring to the common pharmacy backroom for FGM and other illegal medical services, which serve many purposes. It's a consultation room, an examination room, a bed. It's good business. People want the service and they want it as secretly as possible. She says she doesn't perform the cuts, but one of her close relatives who charges 1,000 Kenyan shillings, about 7 pounds a cut, says it's pesa pap, slang for instant money. Health workers and those seeking the cut mainly find each other through trusted contacts. As authorities clamp down on the practice, these circles are becoming highly secretive. Figures from 2014 place Kesey's FGM prevalence at 84%. The third highest rate in the country. However, older reports also recorded an 87% opposition to the practice among the Kesey community, the highest among different ethnic groups. And gender officials from the region say tensions between women who support the practice and those who don't have become increasingly apparent. So women are upholding this abhorrent practice. Okay, this picture here, it says tools of the FGM trade. Blades, egg to glue the wound, syringe, anesthetic, string, paraffin for cleaning, and home remedy anti-bleeding powder. Community leaders are adamant that current data does not reflect downward trends of recent years. Wilta Amoso says, we don't have that FGM in our area, despite rights groups reports that at least one clinic was shut down for cutting there last month. Activists say some local authorities have been known to gatekeep the practice by lax enforcement efforts, and the worst cases alerting the perpetrators. More efforts have been placed historically on stopping traditional FGM, which often involves the use of unsterilized instruments, no anesthesia, and more severe cuts, said Jack Onyando, a UNICEF child protection specialist. Onyando says that anti-FGM campaigns need to engage more with professional health worker associations and unions so that the practice does not gain wider acceptance. It is a violence. The view by communities that it could be a safer form of FGM is what is worrying us. For practitioners like us, it's taking us back to the drawing board. So that's that article. And yes, this is a violence, and girls should have more protection globally. That is the reason why I highlight these things on my pages, because we need to see what other girls and women are going through. Globally, we're unprotected. And globally, women are the ones that are upholding these practices by holding true to these traditions that are harming women and girls. So we have got to, the men, yeah, they're going to continue to want to keep their positioning, but some of these women are upholding their position, their power by continuing to keep women and girls unsafe. You guys go ahead and chime in on your thoughts.